And so God knows that we have a tendency to not be thankful in circumstances. He knows that sometimes we have a tendency to complain about petty things. I mean, isn't it true sometimes we complain about petty things? I remember a guy I know, he's a pastor, and he was talking about this time he went to the movie theaters, and he's standing in the concession line, and there was a guy at the concession stand, a few people in front of him, and this guy was clearly getting upset, and he's raising his voice, and he's grumbling to the clerk on the other side of the counter, this young woman, and so, you know, as my pastor friend was hearing this, he's thinking, man, what is this guy getting so upset about? And this guy just kept going on and on and on. And so as this guy grabbed his popcorn and his drink and he's getting ready to pass by my friend said, I briefly considered tripping him with my foot. And he said, I think that's something Jesus would have done to this complainer, right? Well, he didn't do that, of course. Instead, when this guy walked by, he just kind of gave him this little smirk, like, what was that all about? And my friend said, I don't think that smirk affected him at all. So then this pastor, he goes up to the counter and he asked this young woman, he's like, what was that guy so upset about? And she said, well, he got mad because I put too much popcorn in his bucket and he didn't think he could carry it out without spilling it. And the pastor told me, that's when I knew Jesus would have definitely tripped this guy. No. But, you know, here's a guy who's irritated because he has too much popcorn. Now, I tell you that example because we may not complain about having too much popcorn, but we can complain about some pretty petty things. I mean, seriously, let's just be honest. Sometimes we can complain and grumble about the most minor manini things, right? I don't know if you've seen this hashtag. It's hashtag FWP on social media. Here's what it stands for: First World Problems. And basically, first world problems are when we complain about things that are they're not big issues. They're minor problems. They're petty, but we still complain about them. So if you ever do a hashtag FWP search on social media, here's some of the things that'll come up. These are first world problems that we can often complain about. Here's one. It's so frustrating to get home from the grocery store and not be able to fit the food in the refrigerator, right? First world problem. Like, oh my gosh, I just don't have enough room in my refrigerator for all this food, right? Here's another one. Ugh, I don't know what to wear today. Why? You know, I have all these clothes in my closet. I don't know what to wear. First world problems. Here's one. My internet is running so slow. You know, we've all experienced that, right? And so, you know, we can just get so upset over petty things. So God addresses this. He knows we have a tendency to do this. So look at what he says in Philippians 2:14. He says, do everything, say it with me, without complaining and arguing, so that no one can criticize you. Now stop and read this again. God says, hey, do everything without complaining and arguing. Why? So that this world that's filled with people who are complaining can see people who are not like them. They can see people who are grateful and not grumbling. But what God wants us to do is when we get into that space where we're just critical, you know, oh, that jerk at work, oh my gosh, they did it again, dropping balls all the time. You know, those politicians, oh my God, you know, and we're complaining with this critical spirit where we're not seeking resolution, where it's an unrighteous anger, or it's this whiny victim mentality. That's super petty. God says, hey, when that happens, you need to push pause. And here it is. You need to rein in your complaining. When you're getting like that, rein in your complaining. And God says, I want you to do that so that this world doesn't criticize you. Now let's just pause here for a second. Would you agree that there are a lot of people who are complaining and arguing in our world right now? I mean, it's super divisive. I mean, I look at social media sometimes, and I just scratch my head. Even sometimes, I don't mean to be rude, but sometimes I see Christians arguing on social media, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, pause. We need to be the light in this world. It's a dark world right now. And so I want to just encourage us to be mindful, to be careful what we post, be mindful and careful of what we're arguing about. Arguments are going to happen, right? But we just need to be careful when we move into the spirit of complaining. God says when that happens, you need to rein in your complaining. And so do I.